Welcome to Scarpa. You're in the little climbing zone here at the moment. So in this area we make climbing shoes, and I thought I might take you through this new Furia Air. So the Furia Air, maybe the first thing we should talk about is it's really light. It's 150 grams, so that's pretty significant. It's a lot lighter than any other climbing shoe so far that's been made. It's certainly the lightest in our collection. I haven't seen a lighter shoe, so it's the lightest that I know of. But probably one of the most confusing things that people think is it's light because it's actually like missing bits or pieces, but that's not actually true. It's actually got the same 4 layers that all the other climbing shoes have got. It's just that each layer is a lot thinner. And the actual goal was not the weight, the goal was to get the perfect fit. And the weight is a byproduct. The cool thing about the weight is that climbing shoes are quite hard to compare, but everyone has to use grams to compare it. So it's one of the few things that somebody can compare all climbing shoes on in the same category. Everybody uses grams, and every climbing shoe is a sample size weighed per shoe. So that's probably one of the coolest things. It feels very, very light when you have it in your hand, but on the end of the foot, it's the fit that's really amazing. So there's a couple of different layers to it. So all of our climbing shoes have 4 layers and all have a midsole, a tension system and rubber, and an upper. So I thought I might bring one of the uppers here to show you what it's like before you put the rubber or any of the midsoles on. So it's an 8-piece upper. So that means that there's 8 little pieces that go into the upper and they're all stitched together like in a little jigsaw puzzle. So that's really important because it helps keep the shape of the shoe over its time, and it also allows us to put different pieces of material in different areas around the shoe. So you can see here where the big toe is on the other side, it's got a patch of Alcantara. It's the first time we've used Alcantara in any of our shoes, and it's an artificial type leather. It has very good grip on contact with the skin. And on the outside here, there's a little membrane that's bolted to it. So that stops any stretch or anything on the outside. And it's a 2-way stretch membrane. So it stretches one way but not another on the other side. And then you can see this perforated microfiber. So normally in our Dragos and our Furia S, we use a 2-layer microfiber. It's 2 1mm layers bonded together on either side with the grains facing different ways. And that gives a really even stretch and good strength for a thin material. On the Furia Air, you can see it's all perforated, which makes it easy to see the inner layers and the outer layers. But it's actually 1.6mm, with the blue layer on the outside being 1mm, and the inside layer is 0.6mm. So it's just a little bit thinner, but especially it's more elasticated. So it's a little bit lighter, but the fit is much, much better than the normal shoe. So the next bit you probably want to look at is probably this plastic insert. So this is flex sand. Normally in the Drago and Furia we use a 1mm flex sand, but it's a different type of shape. So you can see here, it sits under the big toe here, and it covers just under the ball. Whereas the Drago and the Furia S have a floating big toe and it goes to the 4 toes on the other side. So it's a little bit bigger piece of plastic but a little bit thinner, and it covers more of an area of the big toe than the Drago or Furia S. So it gives a lot of support, which is really important because the upper is so soft. The next bit that goes onto it is this tension system. So unlike the Drago or the Furia S, you can see the orange and blue tension systems here. They stop just behind the forefoot, so they don't actually go to the tip of the shoe. This means that on the Drago and Furia S, there's actually only 2 layers between the booty and the upper, not the 3rd layer like Furia Air has. So it has an extra layer in between there. Also, tension is a lot bigger, you can see, and it's dual tension. So we call it DTS, so dual tension system. And you can see all the little holes on the other side. So there's 6 different types of holes. In this shoe, there's 100 holes in all of the rubber, and each hole is between 2 and 7mm. And it depends on how much flexibility we want for the rubber to have to where we actually put the holes. So you can see on the high tension bit of the tension system there's no holes, and then there's smaller holes and they gradually get bigger towards the center. So we want the tension to be softer under the foot and higher on the other side of the foot. When they apply this tension system, they actually pull the two sides at a different tension on each side. And that helps keep this corkscrew type shape into the shoe. The other thing you'll notice is that the tension system actually goes right to the ankle but doesn't go around the Achilles. Whereas if you see all of our other shoes on the other side here, you see they've got a slingshot on each side and then a tension system on the bottom. So this tension system doesn't go around the Achilles, it actually stops just either side, and then it's connected with this piece of rubber, Vibram grip. It's 1mm rubber, and we wrap that around the Achilles, and then it wraps further around the heel, and that helps spread the force of this over a bigger area, so there's not as much tension in the Achilles heel. So not only do you get a higher tension out of the rubber, you end up getting a slingshot and a tension system in one piece, and then this force is spread better with this piece at the end here. It's 1mm excess grip too, so it's a little bit thinner than our Drago and Furia S heels that we have, so a little bit more sensitive on the other side there. So it doesn't give as much stability in hooking, but it gives a lot more sensitivity. So we really wanted to make variation in the shoes, and we wanted to focus on this shoe being really sensitive and having a good fit. That means thin layers and lots of thin layers through the shoe. The SRT system, which you can see on the top of the shoe here, same hole system that you can see, a mapping of these holes with smaller holes down the bottom or no holes where we want a lot of tension, fading up to bigger holes at the top here where we want it to be really morphic and wrap over the knuckles, and a deep cleft right in the middle. So you can see this rubber is this M50 rubber, very elasticated rubber. It's not like the dead rubber that we have on the Vibram, which is stable with good friction. It's much more elasticated, has high friction, but obviously the durability and stability is lower. So it's perfect for the top of the shoe, on the top, and it wraps all the way under on the other side, so it actually adds tension to the shoe as well as being a toe cap. So there's a lot of tension in the shoe, and there's a lot of bits and pieces that go into the shoe, and that helps keep the shape and form because the material is so thin, which gives it the glove-like fit. So it's a real balancing act of doing all these things together. The last piece is the Vibram sole, goes down the bottom here. It's 3mm Vibram grip. Got a few holes punched in the middle for a bit more flexibility, and it covers just the forefoot at the front here. So similar to what you see in the Furia S and Drago, just 0.5mm thinner. So I really hope people enjoy this shoe. The fit is fantastic, and it's just a lot of fun to climb in.